Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
It is a picture-perfect night for baseball here in the Motor City as the Tigers homestand rolls on. We welcome into Comerica Park. It is Game 2 in this three-game series featuring the Detroit Tigers and the visiting Minnesota Twins. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba alongside Rod Allen. Glad to have you with us for Game 2 in the series. And the Tigers, obviously, Rod, got some really bad news last night. We kind of figured this would be the case, but now they've got to move on without Miguel Cabrera.
Well, Miguel Cabrera is irreplaceable. That much we do know. He is a Hall of Fame player. But while Miggy's out for the remainder of the year, there are several guys that are going to get an opportunity to play first base. John Hicks, more than likely, will get the majority of the reps. He played very good baseball in Miggy's absence in the month of May. But that dugout in that clubhouse was very quiet until Ron Gardenhire said, turn the music on. And now they turn the music on. So they'll move forward without Miggy and hope that they can play some really good baseball.
All right, we will move forward tonight. Pretty good pitching matchup for this one. Matthew Boyd goes for the Tigers. Jose Barrios, the flamethrower for the Minnesota Twins. They get it done in different ways, but both very good.
You know, Matthew Boyd shows up in a lot of categories that you would think it would be a power pitcher, but he hasn't been a power pitcher this year. He went from throwing his slider 11% last year to throwing it 33% this year, and because of that, his numbers are really, really good. A 3.20 ERA, the whip just a shade over 1. Barrios coming off a 6-hit shutout 5 days ago against the White Sox. As a matter of fact, his second complete game of the year. He's got a really good fastball, and he's got a wipeout slider. As a matter of fact, he gets tons of strikeouts on that curveball that he features. Tigers saw him a couple of weeks ago. He's a pretty good pitcher, so they'll have to go here tonight. All
right, Game 2 just minutes away. After a short break, we'll be going down to the Coliseum Studios, checking in with John Keating. Coming up tonight, well, in Miggy's absence, someone's got to step up, and maybe that someone is John Hicks. He'll get his shot at first base. Tigers Twins, Game 2 next.
Brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be. Come to Comerica. And by Jeep. Hurry into the Jeep Celebration event and get a great deal today. 80 degrees under a beautiful blue sky in downtown Detroit. John Keating, welcome back to the Call Sam studio. Game time approaches. The Tigers have lost 2 straight. The Twins have won 2 straight. And in fact, Minnesota has elbowed their way above Detroit in the Central Division standings by a half game. For the Tigers, life after Miguel Cabrera in 2018 begins here tonight. They'll have Matthew Boyd on the mound tonight. His last start against the Twins at Target Field, he only lasted 4 innings, and he had to come out due to a side spasm. Matthew Boyd can't wait for tonight.
Boyd and the Tigers take the field here at Comerica Park, and for Matthew Boyd, he is presented tonight by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Matthew Boyd in his last outing did something that's very difficult to do, and that's a left-hander winning a game in Boston against that really good offense. He pitched 6 in the third, gave up just 4 hits and 2 earned runs. He's got the fastball, and he really uses his slider a whole lot more this year than in recent memory, and that's why his numbers are outstanding this season.
Here is the lineup he will face tonight for Minnesota, and it's presented by your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. It'll be Dozier, Rosario, and Escobar. Top 3 for Minnesota. You got Sano batting cleanup. Robbie Grossman is in right field tonight. Morrison back at first. Adrianza had the big grand slam last night. Then Lamar and Wilson rounding it out for Minnesota.
And Oakland University brings you the Tigers starting defense. Couple of changes in the starting lineup here tonight. Victor Reyes gets the start in left. Jacoby Jones was in left field in last night's game. The infield reads Thursday first. Candelario Iglesias. Nico Goodrum getting the start at second base. And John Hicks going to get most of the reps over there, with Miggy being out for the remainder of the year, and Grayson Griner getting his first opportunity to catch since being recalled yesterday.
So Matthew Boyd ready to go to work. Here's the first pitch of tonight's ball game to Brian Dozier. Tigers held Dozier hitless in last night's ball game, which is something they have not been able to do a whole lot of. He was 0 for 4 last night. Dozier looks at a strike. 1-1 on the Minnesota leadoff man. Dozier, in fact, battling an 0 for 12. Ooh, the 1-1 is going to drill him right on the leg. It seemed like it was the back leg, and the Twins have the leadoff man on.
It looked like a slider, and they got away from Matthew, and it hit him right in the right thigh, right above the knee.
Twins athletic trainer out to take a look at Dozier to make sure he can continue.
And Dozier's got a smile on his face.
So the leadoff man on here as we scope out the weather tonight. 84 degrees, our game time temperature. Mostly clear here this evening. Nothing but blue skies above, and that's a welcome sight.
That is the 5th batter that Matthew Boyd has hit this year, which is a career high for any season and that he has been in professional baseball.
Eddie Rosario showing bunt, takes one up high, 1-0. Rosario in the 2-slot, 1 for 4 in last night's ball game.
Boyd has been dominant against left-handed bats this year, and lefties batting only 182 against Matthew. And it's one of the things that he really wanted to get better at in the offseason. Last year, lefties hit him a little bit better. But this year, with the slider usage going way up, he's been able to pretty much handle left-handers.
He has been about 33% slider this season. 2-0 is in there. Strike call, 2-1.
Yeah, he went from throwing his slider just 11% last year all the way up to that number you just mentioned of 33%.
That is a huge jump.
It's worked very well for him. He's got really good numbers up and down. Dozier's got decent speed. He's only stolen 3 bags this year, been caught a couple of times.
Tim Timmons behind the dish tonight, and Mike Winters down at second is your crew chief. And again, they will chase Dozier back.
A lot of times when a base runner is contemplating running against a left-hander, they might guess that the left-hander won't throw over 3 times in a row. Therefore, they'll try to go on first movement if they're stealing.
Right through the breaking ball, 2-2. Escobar waiting on deck. The duo of Rosario and Escobar has been a potent one for the Minnesota Twins. Still waiting the return of Joe Mauer to their lineup. And although the lefty Boyd has been really good against left-handed hitters, Rosario has hit lefties at a pretty good clip recently. 10 for his last 24 versus southpaws. Chop foul down the first base line. Rosario is a guy that has been termed a good bad ball hitter. In other words, he can leave the strike zone route and still make very good contact.
Yeah, like Jose Altuve. Guys can cover the bill of the cap all the way down to the shoe tops.
Oh, the Tigers thought they had him struck out, but Rosario is still alive, 3-2.
I wonder why Griner came out of there so quickly.
I don't know if he didn't think there was a runner at first base. Looked like he wanted to throw it around. Now we'll see if the runner is on the move here. Holding, that's drilled toward the gap in right center. That'll get down a base hit. Martin will cruise it over. He'll get it back in. Throw to second base is high. And Rosario will take second and third now for Minnesota.
It's a 3-2, looks like fastball that pretty much splits the plate. Real good swing here by Rosario. And Rosario's one of those guys that as soon as he makes contact, he's thinking two. Even though Martin in center field has a very good arm, Rosario forcing the issue.
2 on, nobody out, and now here is Escobar. Early scoring chance for Minnesota. Escobar with 12 home runs this year. Ball 1. Solid .288 batting average. He has knocked in 39 already.
Escobar getting a chance to play every day. And with Polanco, their shortstop, serving a suspension.
It's been red hot. The player of the week in the American League last week. Fouled away, 1-2 now on Escobar. Check out that shirt.
Is that Verlander?
Yeah, a little throwback JV shirt.
He said, no big deal. I'm good.
Now Boyd with the 1-2. 2-2 on Eduardo Escobar. He has played all over the diamond on the infield, third, short, second. There's big Miguel Sano lurking on deck. Back up the middle and into center field, base hit, 1-run scores. Now Rosario stopped around third. They're going to send him home and he will score.
Boy, Martin's got to throw that ball home. It's the second time this year that Rosario has taken an extra base on Martin while he's been holding the ball in center field.
It happened back in Minnesota, right?
Right. I mean, he stops, but once Martin doesn't throw the ball home, he just simply starts up again. If he'd have thrown that ball right away, then Rosario doesn't run there, in my opinion. Take a look up top here. He should just throw it. See, he saw Rosario stop momentarily, and then he didn't throw the baseball.
It's exactly what Ron Gardenhire said the first time it happened in Minneapolis when the Tigers were at Target Field. And it's happened again here. It's a 2-run single, 2-0 Minnesota. Foul ball.
And take a look at Rosario here. He's going to get to third base, and he's stopped by the third base coach. All of a sudden, he doesn't throw the ball, so Rosario says, all right, I'm going to run.
And he scored easily. Still nobody out. That'll dive low and into Sano, 2-1. Hit by pitch, a double and a single, and 2 runs in for Minnesota. Sano, good power, 7 homers, batting only .208. High fly ball, shallow right field. Castellanos under it, and that is the first out of the inning.
And now Matthew Boyd is just one pitch away from getting out of this jam. So he get a ground ball. Matthew Boyd has been outstanding in the first inning. In his total of 12 starts this year, he's only given up a total of 3 runs in the 12 starts. But Minnesota's gotten him for a couple of here in the first frame tonight.
Robbie Grossman getting a start in right field tonight. Max Kepler not playing with the lefty Boyd on the hill. How about Hardy last night? He was really good.
85 pitches. He was pitching a gem when he left the contest last night. Lots of first pitch strikes, lots of ground ball outs. Hardy in his last 2 starts, one last night against Minnie, the other against the Boston Red Sox when the team was there last week. 19 ground ball outs total.
Tiger bullpen, though, could not hold it last night. 1-0 pitch is a strike, 1-1.
That's a good pitch. Anytime you find yourself in a fastball count against a good fastball hitter, and Robbie Grossman is a fastball hitter, and why not throw an off-speed pitch? And Matthew was able to do that, and not only do it, but throw a strike with it.
Paul Molitor playing the matchups tonight in right field. Kepler's only 1 for 12 against Boyd. Grossman, meanwhile, has homered twice against Matthew.
And Kepler pretty good against left-handers. Other than Matthew Boyd.
Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Grossman is out of there. 2 gone. First strikeout of the ball game now for Boyd.
And good pitch there by Matthew. It's a breaking ball. That's a slider.
Opponents batting just 165 against that slider of Boyd. And that last one was a good one. Here's Logan Morrison. Morrison last night had a walk. He was 0 for 3. Still battling it in terms of the batting average, only 189 this year, but he has 7 homers. One ball, 1 strike.
This Minnesota team might scare some people down the stretch once they get healthy. And once they get Sano back and really playing the way that he's capable of swinging the bat. Once Mauer comes back, he's close. Buxton, of course, on the DL as well. And Morrison, if they can get him going, I mean, they might make some noise in the second half of the season.
And Irvin Santana.
Forgot about him.
He's currently on the DL as well. That'll float in for a strike. 1-2 on Morrison. Two runs in on the 2-run single by Escobar. In the air towards center field. Martin cruising over, still coming in, going to drop. It'll roll by him, and to third base on the play goes Escobar. A bloop single off the bat of Logan Morrison. Now first and third.
Well, neither Castellanos nor Martin could make this play. And therefore, neither player called it. Sluggish start here tonight by the boys,
to say the least. Here is A-Ray Adrianza, who had the big blow last night, the grand slam. Trying to drive in a 2-out run, and he'll look at ball 1. So Boyd's pitch count now is starting to skyrocket here in the first inning. That is 28 for Matthew. One on Adrianza. He's been hot, 351 over his last 21 ball games. Playing shortstop again tonight. Good pitch on the outer edge, 1-2. There's the breakdown on Boyd now. After 30 pitches. Now the 1-2. It's a Twins ball club that has not played up to what many felt would be their potential early on in the season, but a lot of that has to do with the injuries they've suffered. I think more than anything else, they have been pretty pleased with their pitching. It's just the offense has not been as consistent as it was last year.
Yeah, they also had a few guys get off to some slow starts. Lance Lynn got off to a slow start. Now pitching much better baseball.
They had Morrison on the move there. One and two on Adrianza.
And Logan Morrison and Miguel Cabrera. They were teammates in Florida before Miggy was traded to the Detroit Tigers. Teammates in 07.
Rolled foul.
Yeah, Miggy was the topic of baseball across the country today. Every channel that you turned on, they were talking about the devastating injury to Miguel Cabrera.
Well, you wonder what kind of an impact they'll have on this team going forward. Certainly they'll miss his bat in the middle of the lineup, but miss his presence in the clubhouse as well. The 1-2 is fouled away again.
And something that Miguel is really good at that people don't really know is the fact that when sitting in the dugout, he is really good at telling his teammates exactly what the opposing pitcher is doing and what that opposing pitcher might be trying to do to them. So Miggy really on top of that, so they'll miss that too.
Or as Cardi put it today, that constant chatter that he provides in the dugout. Runner goes again, and it's low and in. No throw to second. He'll steal it standing up.
And they were basically giving Morrison that base.
2-2 on Adrianza. Base hit, could play two more here. And he popped him up left side of the infield. It'll be Iglesias. That'll end the inning. Long inning though for Matthew Boyd as the Twins get two. Here's the Tigers starting lineup presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. And here it is. Tigers have Martin, Castellanos, and Candelario. Condi batting third tonight. You got Martinez, the DH. Hicks, Goodrum, Griner, Iglesias, and Victor Reyes getting a start. Jose Barrios, presented by MGM Grand Detroit.
Hey, Tigers have got their work cut out for them tonight. Jose Barrios, one of the better right-handers in the league. 7 wins with a 3.66. He's got good fastball. Tops out at about 95. His weapon is a curveball, so you want to hit that fastball real early in the count. And Barrios coming off a 6-hit shutout 5 days ago. His second complete game of the year of the White Sox.
Barrios only 24 years of age, out of Bayamon, Puerto Rico. In his last 5 starts, he's averaging almost 11 strikeouts per 9. He has really started to turn things up a notch. 2-0 is in there, 2-1 on Martin.
You got a lot of young pitchers with the real streamlined deliveries these days. They're trying to simplify everything so they can throw strikes. But Barrios not one of those guys. He's got the old-fashioned windup.
He stands 6 feet 205. Barrios now is rounding into the ace of the staff for Minnesota. Many predicted he would. One of their best pitching prospects of the last couple of years.
And you got to lay off that curveball if it's down.
Fastball up, fouled away. 94 from Barrios. As a minor leaguer, was voted as having the best curve, changeup, and control in the Twin system. Castellanos waiting on deck. And Martin strikes out swinging.
And while we have a second, let's set the Minnesota Twins defensive alignment. A Rosario in left, Lamar in center. Grossman is over in right field tonight. In the infield, and they've got Escobar, they've got Adrianza, they've got Dozier, Morrison, and Bobby Wilson is the catcher.
Here's Castellanos. Nick was 0 for 4 in last night's ball game. He has slowed down a bit from a torrid pace that he had been on. He'll drive this one to center field. Ooh, a little tough sun there in center, but Lamar stays with it. 2 gone. By the way, if the Tigers combine for 3 or more home runs in this game, bring a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location tomorrow and get a free small order of curly fries.
Nick now 2 for his last 19, and Candelario 2 for his last 18. So when you have a couple of guys at the top of your batting order that aren't as efficient as they have been in the past, you're going to have some difficulty scoring runs, and the Tigers have had a difficult time of scoring runs lately, as these 2 guys have not hit as efficiently as they were earlier.
Candy had a walk last night, finished 0 for 4. He remains the Tiger that has seen the most pitches per at bat. Over 4 pitches per at bat this year.
Boy, more and more teams, either side of the plate that Candelario is batting on, they like to pound him inside with fastballs.
Now, Jamer obviously is recognizing that as a hitter. When you see opposing teams do that, how do you respond?
Well, you don't swing at him. I think that's his biggest asset. Is there are a lot of guys, Mario, that when you know that opposing pitcher is going to try to crowd you inside with a fastball, I mean, you try to get to it. But Jamer has been able to take a lot of the fastballs off the plate inside.
Slap toward left field. Rosario's on the run, still going to make the running catch. That'll be a 1-2-3 inning for Barrios, and we go to the second. Tonight we are taking part in the Home Run Challenge. Every home run in this game raises money for prostate cancer research, and since June 1st, $1.35 million have been raised for the challenge. You can make a pledge by going to homerunchallenge.org.
$1.35 million.
We will talk more about that as the broadcast goes on tonight. We are heading up to Father's Day, and that's the initiative every year in the Home Run Challenge to raise money for the research. Ryan Lamar hits one off the end of the bat foul. He'll get a roll in here in the second. Lamar, Wilson, and Dozier. And suffice to say, Rod, that Mr. Boyd needs a more snappy second.
Yeah, he needs to get his pitch count back in order if he's going to stay out there for a while this evening. One thing about Minnesota, man, this is the 12th time that Matthew Boyd has seen them. So a lot of these guys have seen Boyd a bunch, but really the Matthew Boyd that they've seen, other than the last outing against him, was a Matthew Boyd that threw a lot harder, a Matthew Boyd that didn't throw as many breaking balls. So they're seeing a different Matthew Boyd here tonight.
Lamar looks at a strike, and it's strike three. He knew it, one gone.
That's what Matthew has done very well. He'll take the breaking ball. He starts it off the plate. About at its highest point is where you as a hitter give up on it. And then once, because of the spin on it, the natural spin, it just comes back to the plate. But by the time you recognize that, it's too late.
Boyd had 36 pitches in the first inning. Bobby Wilson, the batter. Wilson catching tonight for the Twins. One of the injuries that may have a large impact that we're not talking about is Jason Castro, their starting catcher, who's out for the year and is known for handling his staff very well.
Yeah, no question about that. You'll always miss the really good receivers. They got him from the Houston Astros, what, a couple years ago? Castro?
Castro, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, he's always been an analytics darling behind the plate.
The 2-1. Well, you wonder how the Twins will proceed as far as the catching position is concerned. I know when Castro first went on the DL, they got a lot of calls from other teams wanting to know if they had any interest in dealing for a catcher. Did he go? And he went around for strike three, so Wilson is out of there. 2 away. Stay tuned to Tigers Live following the game when we will select the Fox Sports Detroit Tigers player of the game, presented by McDonald's. Here's Brian Dozier. Dozier hit by a pitch in the first and then scored on the 2-run single by Escobar. Dozier came in at 406 against Boyd with 3 home runs. That'll dive in for a strike, 1-1. Matthews certainly in a lot better rhythm here in the second. Of course, with nobody on base, that's usually the case. He'll get it and throw it. Two and one.
And Matthew really hasn't given Dozier anything inside as of yet. And mostly breaking balls on the outside part of the plate, going out there again.
There are those numbers. 406, 3 homers against Matthew Boyd. Way inside, and the count fills now 3-2. So Boyd now is at 50. ball was at his chin, and Boyd went after it, or I should say Dozier rather, fouled it straight back. Matthew with 3 strikeouts early on here. Rosario waiting on deck. Here's the 3-2. Walked him. Dozier on base again.
That's a big bender there.
Now with 2 outs, here is Rosario. Boyd in his last start threw 101 pitches in that start against Boston. He pitched into the 7th inning in that game 3 times this year. He's gone better than 100.
He walked 4 in that game against Boston, but in that ballpark, man, you have to pick the guys that you really want to pitch to. And he did a marvelous job in that outing of pitching around the guys that he wanted to pitch around and pitching to the guys that he felt like he can get out. So 4 walks, not bad in that particular ballpark when you're going up against that offense.
Yeah, and that offense averaged 6 runs per game at that time at home, so Boston could really hit. One and 2 now on Rosario. Why is it, do you think, that Rosario doesn't get the credit that maybe he deserves as a hitter?
Well, I don't think Minnesota has played on national TV all that much the last couple of years because they really haven't been a great team. And I think that's part of the reason. They did get to the postseason, but Rosario, it didn't last very long in the postseason, and I think that's the main reason. I think across the country people are starting to understand the kind of player that Rosario is. I also believe he'll make an all-star team this season and he'll get a lot more recognition. But I just think it's the fact that Minnesota's not on national TV that often, therefore he hasn't been exposed to the country.
Fouled away again, and the Twins are fouling off quite a few pitches here in the first 2 innings.
Yeah, but Rosario is a legitimate 5-tool player. I mean, he has every last tool, and several of them are above average. Power, hitting for average, can steal your base. He's got a good arm, and he's a good defender.
Popped up first base side. It'll be Goodrum making the call and the catch. That'll end the inning. No runs. They get a walk. 1 man left. Half of the second. Here's Chevrolet's most dependable player, and we want to focus on Miguel Cabrera, who has played 1,896 games before a first career DL stint, and he's really been very dependable.
Yeah, that's where he's headed when it's all said and done. Of course, he'll be back next year, but he's had a Hall of Fame career already.
Victor Martinez will lead things off for the Tigers here. Martinez and then Hicks and then Goodrum. Barrios with the 1-0, and it's a strike called in the outside corner. Barrios had a 1-2-3 first. Slap the other way, but right there to cut it off Escobar, and he'll throw him out. One away. Yeah, the Tigers host these Twins tomorrow at 1:10. Enjoy the weekday value pack featuring 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 bags of chips, and 4 sodas for just $20 per person. If you'd like tickets, go to tigers.com/value. The other thing, Rod, about Miguel Cabrera is, it took a while for him to finally go on the DL in his career, but he played a lot of years hurt, especially that Triple Crown year that folks really don't know about.
No doubt about that. He had a huge tolerance for pain, and he always believed that even when he was a little banged up, he could still go out and perform and play well. And he also wanted his teammates to see him go out there every single day and play, because that's what good leaders do.
Hicks in the air to center field and shallow, and it's going to be run down there by Lamar.
And you figure John Hicks will get the majority of the reps at first base, while Miguel Cabrera amends the remainder of the year.
2 gone now for Nico Goodrum.
And Nico Goodrum probably will get some more opportunities as well. He's played some first base.
Nico's been all over the place. He's played every infield position except pitch and catch.
I'm sure if you asked him to do it, he said, sure, I'll do that too.
There's
just
no
to
doubt.
stay in the big leagues. It's been a long road to get to the big leagues for Nico. 7 long years in the minor leagues.
The 1-1.
Here's that breaking ball. It's about 80 miles an hour. It's an outstanding pitch for Barrios. As a matter of fact, 45% of his strikeouts come on that pitch.
Drill to right field down the line. That ball is deep, and that ball is gone. Nico Goodrum with a home run here in the second, a 2-out solo shot. Sixth of the year for Goodrum.
He threw him back-to-back breaking pitches, on the second of which he had already seen it, and he was sitting there waiting for it. There's a breaking ball that's down and in, and that's the nitro zone of a left-handed batter at 82. Doesn't do a whole lot, and Nico Goodrum with an outstanding swing goes down and gets it and drives it out of the ballpark to put the Tigers on the board.
RBI number 18, so the Tigers have some life here on the Goodrum home run. Oh, Nico's taken some pretty good pitchers deep this year. He got Paxton, got Carrasco, now he's gotten Barrios.
He's got 6 homers.
There's a strike call 0-2 now on Grayson Griner. Off the end of the bat, it's going to get by Barrios. He'll cover the bag, and the shovel toss is in time to get him. So Nico with a deep bomb. Home runs for a good cause. We'll talk more about that next. is our score as we go to the top of the third. Pleasure to be joined by Dr. Howard Sewell, who is joining us in the booth here this evening to talk about the home run challenge. Doctor, thanks very much for joining us. I know that obviously Father's Day is the culmination of the home run challenge here, but what is the message, I think, as we lean toward Father's Day and what you hope to accomplish with the home run challenge?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me in the booth tonight. Greatly appreciated. We hope that all men will have a rational discussion with their primary care physician and get tested for prostate cancer. We believe this is an important way to wipe this disease off the face of the earth, which is our goal.
Eduardo Escobar taking a ball outside.
So the home run challenge raises money for prostate cancer research. Michael Milken has been on the road.
Ball driven down the left field line, sailing toward the corner and out of play.
Since 1997,
right.
Raising money for our foundation, which has really extended and improved the lives of men with prostate cancer.
Dr. Sewell, have they been able to narrow down why it is more important for African American men to get tested more regularly than other men?
That is a great question, and I wish we had an answer. But what we do know is that African American men are diagnosed at an earlier age with a more aggressive cancer. So it is really important for men with any family history, whether they're Caucasian or African American, to talk to their doctor about getting tested.
Is there an age where African American men should start getting tested?
Well, the American Cancer Society suggests 50 for Caucasian men and a little younger for African American men.
What about some of the advancements in the research, Doc? Because obviously as we go along here, and the home run challenge has been going on, as you mentioned, for quite a while now. What can you tell us about the advancements that some of the research has gone through?
Well, the research that we have funded over the years has resulted in 7 FDA-approved medicines now that extend the lives of men with the most lethal forms of the disease. And we think this is a huge achievement we're very proud of.
Is surgery always the main option here, or are there other ways of going at this disease?
Well, that's a really good question and a tough one to answer. I mean, it's a discussion that a patient has with his physician, and depending on the state of the disease and other things going on in the individual, a urologist typically will prescribe either surgery or radiation, or even active surveillance, just watching it in primary disease.
Our manager, Ron Gardenhire, had prostate cancer, and he talked about the early detective. I mean, looking at it early was one of the things that really helped him out.
Well, in many men that detect it early, it's absolutely curable. And the 5 and 10 year survival rates are just brilliant if caught early.
Doc, I know a lot of men really don't want to go to the doctor, first of all, don't want to get tested, second of all. I mean, I think we're all kind of in that boat. And talk about what the testing is like, and how do you motivate men to go get checked and make sure that, you know, they are checked on a yearly basis?
Well, it's, you know, we're coming up on Father's Day.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm a father. I have a son. I teach, and I mean, I talk to everybody that will listen to me that you should have this discussion with your primary care physician. If it's right for you, get tested, because it could save your life.
Sanoa's caught looking, and there are 2 gone here in the third.
What should men know before they get screened?
Well, they should know that a lot of prostate cancer is indolent, meaning that it will never in your lifetime cause clinical problems, and it can be watched. Many active surveillance programs now are popping up around the world. It's a good thing. But you need to know that it's indolent and not very aggressive. And some say that African American men really shouldn't do surveillance. They should get treated.
We're chatting with Dr. Howard Sewell as we head up to Father's Day. The home run challenge is going on all across baseball to help raise funds for prostate cancer research. Doc, I saw some numbers that are really quite staggering. 1 in 9 will get prostate cancer. Is that true? I mean, those are staggering numbers.
That is a staggering number, and fortunately, the chances of dying from the disease in general are relatively low. but you want to know that you have it, and you want to have appropriate treatment.
Robbie Grossman, the batter here with 2 outs, and he'll look at a ball inside 3-1. Tigers are trailing in this one 2-1 as we play in the third. 2 out, nobody on. Matthew Boyd, after a rocky first, has settled in.
So one of the things I'm very proud of tonight.
It's driven to right field and caught for the final out.
Are my colleagues that are here from the University of Michigan Cancer Center and
Nice.
Carmonas Cancer Center. We have funded extraordinary amounts of great clinical and basic science right here in Detroit. So the money we raise in Detroit stays in Detroit.
Dr. Howard Sewell, we appreciate you joining us tonight, and best of luck in raising funds. Bottom of the third, a home run by Nico Goodrum is the only Tiger run off Barrios so far. It'll be Iglesias, Reyes, and Martin in the Tiger third. And Iglesias looks at a strike in the inside corner. Twins got 2 in the first inning, 2-run single by Escobar. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and it's lined to right field. Fair ball, going to go to the corner. Extra bases for Iglesias. He'll go to second with a double.
How hot is Jose Iglesias right now? He is on fire. And Ron Gardenhire said he's going to leave him down there at the bottom of the low order because that's where he feels most confident. It's a 92-mile-per-hour fastball. He stays inside. It hits down the corner for a leadoff double here in the bottom of the third frame.
Iglesias came in batting .300 in the month of June. He is added to that. Here's Victor Reyes, who is getting a start in left field tonight.
Yeah, very important for Victor to do his job. He's got to get Iglesias over to third base. At least get him to third base. Preference would be to drive him in.
Barrios has given up 2 hits in this game, both for extra bases. Victor batting .196 in his rookie campaign. Ooh, on the outer edge, 0-2. Reyes thought that was outside. It appeared to be. Barrios has struck out only once so far. Now the 0-2. Tardy on the 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Reyes had one big game early on this season, a 3-hit game in which he knocked in 3 runs against the Angels. That was in May. fought that one off to stay alive.
Yeah, lots of fastballs thrown by Barrios. He's thrown a total of 29 pitches, and 24 of those have been for strikes. So Barrios is pounding that strike zone.
Jacoby Jones getting the night off tonight, with Reyes getting a start in left field. Seemed to be a pretty good spot for Ron Gardhire, getting Reyes in there, which he's had to try and do. And Jacoby's been struggling offensively recently. Good block at home plate by Wilson. 1-2 on Reyes. Barrios, a pretty good start. His first time out against the Tigers this year. He went 8 strong innings.
His overall career numbers aren't good against the Tigers, but the last couple of times he's gone up against Detroit, he's pitched a whole lot better.
Little chopper back up the middle. This will advance the runner. Reyes is out. Iglesias will take third. One away. Well, if you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Download the app and take Fox Sports Detroit and Tigers baseball with you wherever you go. Made available by Miller Lite.
And Leonis Martin struck out his first time up on 6 pitches. All 6 pitches that Barrios threw him in the first bat of the first inning were fastballs. If you're Martin in this particular situation, you don't want to get big with your swing. They're basically giving you a run if you hit the ball up the middle on the ground.
And that run happens to be the tying run.
And you have to put the ball in play. You can go to shortstop, you can go to second base, you can go to first base. Those will all get you runs. Might not want to go here. Most left-handers don't anyway, but that will not get Iglesias home.
2-0. Barrios, in his first meeting with the Tigers this year, struck out 9 men in 8 innings. He allowed just 3 hits in that game. Tigers, though, have gotten to him for a run on the Nico homer and now trying to equal it up here in the third.
And Barrios also struck out 10 batters in his last outing against the White Sox.
Two and one on Martin. Castellanos waiting on deck. Leonis this year also has 6 outfield assists, good for 4th in the American League among outfielders. Slow roller toward third. That is a foul ball. A very awkward excuse me type swing.
Yeah, that was a ball. It was off the plate inside, and Martin, he saw fastball, but he went for it and realized that he couldn't get to it. And splits tonight for Iggy. He did push-ups last night when he was on third base, and he got a ball that nearly hit him down the third base line. Infield in now.
High ball 3. So they go to 2 strikes on the hitter and draw the infield in.
And Martin has seen nothing but fastballs so far. Hall of Fame manager Paul Molitor.
Way inside, he lost him, ball 4. 2 on now for Castellanos. Will bring us to the Bernstein advantage. Castellanos' career against Barrios, 5 for 11 with a homer.
And Nicholas, his first time up today, he got a fastball right down the middle, hit an absolute rocket right at the center fielder Lamar, and for an out.
Playing to pull on the infield.
And this much we do know about Nicholas. He will be swinging if he gets a first pitch strike.
Ball 1 to Castellanos.
If you're Nick, you might as well just go ahead and take the base hit the opposite way. They're giving you that hole.
And now Barrios will get a mound visit from his catcher and his third baseman. They staked him to a 2-0 lead early, but he's in danger of giving that lead up here in the third. Castellanos still leads the Tigers with 26 multi-hit games this year.
Yeah, big at bat here for Nicholas. Yeah, that's what that visit was by the catcher Wilson, to tell Barrios, don't forget about Martin over at first.
Low ball 2. 95 that time from Barrios. So Nick has worked himself into a good hitter's count here. Infield playing to pull, the entire right side wide open.
Wide open.
Ball 3, and Barrios digging a deeper hole.
That was the 40th pitch that Barrios has thrown here tonight, and 83 to 84% of those have been fastballs. So he hasn't been throwing many breaking balls, at least not yet.
Strike called right at the knees.
It may not be all bad to start a runner here. Martin can run. The entire right side of the infield is wide open. 67% Nicholas is able to score the runner from third base with less than 2 outs, well above league average. The kind of defense right now that Minnesota is playing also presents problems for the second baseman Dozier should Martin run and steal, because he's used to coming to the bag from over here when he's playing second base, but now playing here he'll have to come on the run here to take the throw from Wilson, and a lot of times it makes him uncomfortable trying to apply the tag. Analytics has got guys moving all over the place.
Kind of awkward to try and turn a double play as well.
Absolutely, there is no double play to be turned here. They're willing to give up the double play on the ground ball for the shift.
Runner goes, swing and a miss, throw down to second, and it's high. Stolen base for Martin.
That's just an awkward play for the second baseman. The throw is high. Martin had a great jump, but even Dozier, I mean, once you get to the bag and you take that throw from your catcher, you're used to applying the tag a different way. I mean, you can see he was behind the bag instead of in front of the bag. Come on, Nicholas.
Did he go?
Yep, he did.
Oh, he went around. Nicholas tried to sell it. He ran down to first base. But Drake wasn't buying it.
Yeah.
Tweener.
Yeah, they're going to call that.
2 outs now. We'll take a hit from Jamer. Candelario flying to left field is only at bat. Ball 1 high to Candelario. Inning started with a double by Iglesias, went to third on a ground out. Walk to Martin's stolen base. Jamer 2-out risk at 222. Fouled back out of play, 1-1.
Yeah, the left side of the infield for Minnesota. Dozier and Morrison both play very deep at their respective positions. And both guys at the cut of the grass. And even the shortstop, Adrianza, also playing very deep. It's where you play the cutoff angles. Balls on the ground, give yourself a little bit more room to knock it down. One run would score, but you would knock down and prevent Martin from scoring on something on the ground if you were able to knock it down.
1-2 on Candelario. So Barrios having difficulty getting through the third here. This has been his most stressful inning. Matthew Boyd hoping for some support. Foul away again. Well, the Tigers have been talking about how everyone will have to step up now and pick up Miguel Cabrera. Candelario has been bumped to the 3 spot in the lineup tonight. And he has an opportunity right here to pick up a couple of runs with a base hit.
And Candy has batted anywhere from 1st to 5th this year in Ron Gardenhire's lineup.
Good block there by Wilson. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Second time through the batting order for Barrios has been a little bit of an issue. You see 191 first time through and 243 second time through, where he's at right now. And once he gets through the second, he locks in again.
And this will be his 25th pitch here in the third. Fouled back.
Another good fastball inside at 94 to Jamer.
Victor Martinez waiting on deck. Barrios coming off that complete game in which he threw 109 pitches and a victory versus Chicago with 10 punch-outs. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. And the Tigers strand 2. Barrios with a big punch out there. Tigers baseball tonight presented by Bell Tire.
Brought to you by Jeep. You saw the injury last night concerning Miguel Cabrera. Remember slugging third baseman Dean Palmer, who was a Tiger from 1999 to 2003? He had the same ruptured biceps tendon that Miguel Cabrera suffered last night back in 1995. The good news is, and Dean Palmer joined us on the Tigers Live pregame show, is that by the end of that season, it happened in May of 95, by September, he was back in the Rangers lineup. So it's good news, and he thinks Miguel Cabrera will be absolutely fine in 2019, having gone through what Miggy is now facing, guys.
Well, we're trying to be optimistic, and that certainly is good news. Hopefully it'll hold the same for Miguel Cabrera, whose presence is still being felt in the dugout there. Miggy's number 24 hanging by the helmet rack. Logan Morrison is getting things started here in the fourth inning. He'll take a breaker outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. There have been some guys in the history of this game that have had the injury that Cabrera has had. And hopefully the Tigers slugging first baseman will be ready to go. I think the plan is to hopefully have him ready for spring training next year. Here's the 2-1 pitch. That floats in for a strike. 2-2 on Logan Morrison.
And Ron Gardenhire was talking before the game, and he said that Miggy was just distraught after the game last night. He was very apologetic to him for the injury, which Ron Gardenhire said, "You don't have to apologize to me." But Miggy was devastated, as you can imagine.
Well, here is Menard's big money encounter. Speaking of guys that have had that injury that Cabrera has, Mo Vaughn at the age of 33 had it back in 2001. Played a couple of seasons thereafter. You talked about Dean Palmer and Tim Raines as well.
Yeah, Tim Raines was 41 years old and when he had it. Tim Rock Raines.
2-2. The count stays on Logan Morrison. 2-1 is our score here in the fourth inning. Twins on top, game 2 in this series. Morrison had a single, a steal, did not score in the 2-run first. Escobar knocked in a couple of runs to give the Twins a 2-0 lead at that point. Outside now, 3-2.
And Matthew Boyd has really gotten that pitch count back in shape, as you mentioned he needed to do, partner, after the 36 that he threw in the very first inning.
He had a 1-2-3 third. Pull on the ground, right into the shift. Boyd going over to cover. Nice play. Hit Boyd on the run. Nico throws him out.
That's a nice job there by Matthew Boyd.
1 away now in the fourth inning. We bring in Craig Moreau. Pretty good play here, Simo.
Oh, absolutely. Look at Nico here, though, putting his quarterback skills on right there and throwing it right to Matthew Boyd. That's a moving target, Glass. That is not an easy play. That's a tough play to make.
Not only for Nico, but also for John Hicks, because John Hicks could have caught that ball. I don't know if there was communication between him and also Nico Goodrum.
Grounded toward third, deep behind the bag. Candelario, a 1-hopper to first. 2 gone.
And starting to see more and more guys bounce the ball across the carpet in the infield. It's a much easier play, backing up. He doesn't take that step forward, just wants to get rid of the baseball to make sure he gets it over there. Nice, easy bounce there for John Hicks to catch.
Also like right there, Rod, where Candelario got his feet behind that baseball to where he was already ready to throw the ball when he fielded it. Got himself a good hop.
Ryan Lamar, the batter, with 2 outs. That is 6 in a row now, retired by Matthew Boyd. Drill to center field. Martin turns around. He's there. And a 1-2-3 inning for Matthew. 3 up, 3 down. We go to the bottom of the fourth.
Welcome back, everybody. 2-1 Twins as we head to the bottom of the fourth. And speaking with Miguel Cabrera prior to tonight's game, I asked him if last night that injury was the most painful injury he'd ever experienced, and he shook his head no, and then immediately pointed down to his right ankle, referencing that stress fracture he had in that right ankle back in 2014. He had surgery on that ankle, had bone spurs removed from that ankle as well, and also pointed to his left hip, indicating 2013 when he had some core muscle surgery fighting off a hernia. So this guy has been a true warrior his entire career. As you guys already mentioned, Mario, he's played hurt. He's played through everything he can as far as when he can, but certainly right now he cannot go, and that's bad news for all of us.
Yeah, that's a physical impossibility here. Little roller hit to first base. Morrison will tag the bag, and Victor is out.
If you missed it, here was the injury last night to Miguel Cabrera after taking a swing. He knew it right away.
Cabrera literally just walked right off the field. That ball hammered to left. Rosario won't get there. It'll drop in. Base hit. Hicks is on with a single.
And a little breaking ball there at 79, right over the heart of the plate. Nice swing by John Hicks. Solid single.
Goodrum homered against Barrios in the second. Solo shot his 6th of the year. Counting for the Tigers' only run so far. Each club now has 3 hits in this game. Goodrum is at second base tonight. Two and 0.
And Goodrum had a pretty good game against his former teammates when the Tigers were in Minnesota a few weeks ago. It was that final game of the series. Nico Goodrum played very well. Tigers won that game.
Ooh, man, he had a rip there.
And when you get yourself in that fastball friendly count, 2 balls and no strikes, that's where you can let it all hang out.
And there's no question, guys, he did right there. Nico let it all hang out right there, huh?
Yeah, you can be
He was
aggressive.
trying to do damage.
No doubt.
In there, strike call, 2-2.
Simo, you played the game a long time in the big leagues. I mean, can you remember any players that you guys lost over the years when you were playing that your team really missed? Maybe not the magnitude of a Miguel Cabrera, but somebody else that really meant a lot to one of your teams?
Not right offhand, Rod, unfortunately.
Full count now, 3-2.
I mean, but the mindset is always the same. I mean, you're going to go, there's injuries part of the game. You know, there's going to be some injuries, but it's got to be the next man up. And guys are going to get get an opportunity to play. And all you want to do is try to seize the moment. You want to give it everything you've got and try to be an impact player when your numbers call.
Got him, strike 3. Goodrum is called out on strikes, and he's letting Tim Timmons know that he disagreed. Well, really, Simo, you've got no choice. I mean, there's so many games left, about 100 games left in the season here, that you've got no choice really but to go forward and not really feel sorry about yourselves.
Well, and you can also let it fuel you. You know, you hate that Miggy's out, but there's some other guys that are going to get some opportunities. They are big leaguers. Now, you can't ever replace a Miguel Cabrera. Make no mistake about it. But at the same time, if you can get a couple guys starting to feel their groove, getting more plate appearances, some better rhythm, all of a sudden maybe you can plug in 2 guys that equal up to what Miggy's able to do offensively.
Let me ask you about John Hicks, because he's going to get the majority of the reps, probably, Simo. But the first time he got a chance to play in May, he knew Miggy was coming back. He knows Miggy's not coming back this time. Should his mindset change at all?
I think it should a little bit. I think he should have a lot more confidence in his ability and what he's going to be able to do now on a consistent basis. This will hopefully allow him to relax even more than the first time when Miggy went on the DL. Guys, the goal as a player, you want the opportunity. You want to get ample amount of plate appearances.
No, you was getting ready to say you want to get paid.
Well, you can't. If you put up numbers, Rod, that's just what happens. But when you get the opportunity, man, you start to find some real good rhythm, good timing, and I think that you can really help yourself out.
Hicks diving back in. Well, Hicks will obviously get the majority of the reps at first base. And the Tigers have other guys that they can plug in and out. Goodrum will also spell Hicks at first. Checked it. Barrios wants the appeal. He didn't go. 2-2 the count on Grayson Greiner, who is called up. James McCann has been out the last couple of days. Has not felt well, so Greiner getting a call here. Ronnie Rodriguez also called up when Miggy was put on the disabled list last night. There's Mac. Now the 2-2. Swing and a miss. He dusted him up top. 5 strikeouts for Barrios. No runs, a hit, 1 left on our way to the 5th. Twins have a 2-1 lead. We're going back to college now with Nissan, and we're going back to college with Matthew Boyd, who went to Oregon State University. And here are the numbers he posted at Oregon State.
Matthew pitched 100 games in college. 20 of those as a starter and had a 2.11 ERA.
And he will face Bobby Wilson to get it going here in the 5th.
Oregon State headed back to the College World Series this year.
That's fouled back out of play. Came right at us.
Yeah. Kind of hot, too.
Guys, it looks like Boyd has kind of found his rhythm.
I was going to say, what are the differences you've seen between the first inning and really the rest of the game?
Well, I thought early on he was fighting himself a little bit. Not really attacking the strike zone. Falling behind in the count. The defense also didn't help him out. But right now he seems to be back in that groove that we've come accustomed to seeing him work in.
Here's the 1-2 to Wilson. 2 balls and 2 strikes. It was a 36 pitch first, and now Boyd has reached the 90 plateau. So that first inning really messed with his pitch count. Way outside, 3-2. Top of the order waiting on deck. It'll be Brian Dozier. Walked him. Number 9 hitter gets a walk. Didn't want that. Hey, winter is coming to Comerica Park on July 6th. The Detroit Tigers Game of Thrones ticket packages are on sale now and include an exclusive Tigers branded Game of Thrones t-shirt and a ticket to see the Tigers take on the Rangers. If you'd like to purchase, go to tigers.com/GOT. Now Brian Dozier. Walk and hit by pitch. We've been talking about how Dozier has just felt so comfortable versus Tigers pitching. Simo, were there any teams that you were dialed in against?
Well, I feel like I was dialed in against this Minnesota Twins team, but I also felt like I hit the baseball extremely well at Kauffman Stadium. I don't know why.
Who wants this one? It's going to be Candelario. So there are certain ballparks, certain pitchers, certain teams that you could feel dialed in against.
And you really don't know why, Mario. You really don't. You work to get into a good hitter's count. You work on trying to pick up the baseball early. You want to use the big part of the field, all the things that we talk about to be a good hitter. And for whatever reason, at Minnesota, when we were playing the Metrodome or at Kauffman Stadium, my approach must have been working because I was able to drive the ball to all fields and have some fun.
You know, we've got a really good stat system here and a really good crew that can look up numbers, Steve. And you're absolutely right. 321 career against the Twins. So you got it done.
I don't know why. Like I said, I think because I didn't feel like they could overpower me, especially when they had guys like Brad Radke and those guys. I just didn't think they could beat me with fastball, so I would trust it to let it get deep.
Do you like hitting in domes, period?
Not
really.
Never thought about it.
Yeah.
You do get some base hits on the AstroTurf, though. Don't have to hit it hard.
That last one, a direct hit to Griner. Here's the 1-1.
Here's our 1-800 call Sam call of the game. We're going to flash back to Minnesota. Here's a shallow fly ball. Rosario was on third base. Martin didn't throw it. Rosario stole a run. Rosario also stole a run here tonight, in my opinion, Simo. Martin held it again. He slowed down. He baited him again. He stole another run. So Rosario, very aggressive on the base pass. And what did Martin do there? What was he supposed to do, Simo?
Well, for me, I talked about it yesterday on the pregame show. As an outfielder, anytime there was guys on scoring position, right, you have to assume that guy's going.
Right.
And there's no reason to look up. You have to field the baseball first. You want to make sure your footwork is right, and you want to get rid of the ball in a timely fashion and be accurate with your throw. And I just feel like Martin at times, because he has such a strong arm, he doesn't think guys are going to challenge him. And that's why I think we're seeing him hesitate to throw the baseball.
We've seen him do it right now.
Oh, there's no doubt. He's got 6 assists as well.
Yeah, we've seen him do it right.
3-2. Slow roller back up the middle of Iglesias. He'll flip to second. Great play there by Nico on the bare hand, but unable to get the double play. 2 gone.
And Rosario runs too well. And for them to turn that over, make sure you get 1 out.
Guys, Matthew Boyd right now at 100 pitches.
Whoa. Well, he's about done then. He hasn't gone much over 100 this year.
Here is Eduardo Escobar. Big rip there. By the way, Simo, we looked it up as well. In 84 games against the Royals, 20 home runs. 20.
20 home runs.
So you used launch angle on that, didn't you?
No, Mario, no.
Poking the bear.
Nope, you did. You just poked the bear. You know what I did, Mario? I was hitting with good rhythm and good timing. I was allowing the backside to knock my front side loose, catching the baseball out front.
Nice.
Which allows you to have that up kind of swing, that launch angle that everybody's talking about. You don't create, you don't think about that. That clouds your mind, that clouds everything about being a good hitter. Don't think about it. Keep it simple. See ball, hit ball.
You created your own natural launch angle with
That's
your
right.
approach, yeah. 20 times against the Royals.
You guys trying to make me feel good on here today.
Yeah, well.
Well, I appreciate it.
Truth
I
is
do.
the truth. We're not making these numbers up. 1-2 on Escobar.
But that ain't fun, guys. It ain't fun to talk about me. I want to talk about these young fellas, these young guys that are hungry, getting the opportunity to live out their childhood dream, getting a chance to play. That's what it's all about.
Well, I did a piece on the pregame show today on how the Tigers have been a little bit of a surprise. I remember last year the Tigers went 6-23 in September, and in spring training everybody said you're going to lose 100 games. Have fun with that, but it's been a much better start than people anticipated.
Well, give Gardy a lot of credit, though. He took the Minnesota Twins team and their mentality when you played against them in the Central, and he's brought it here to Detroit. They were aggressive on the base paths. They were pesky in the batter's box, always trying to take the extra base. I mean, those Minnesota Twin teams were tough to play when Gardy was managing, and I feel like that's what's going to happen here in Detroit. He's got some more athleticism. He's got some speed. He's got a pretty good pitching staff. He's got a decent bullpen. These guys are starting to emerge, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does with this team.
Now the 1-2. High, ball 2 on Escobar.
Here's our Xfinity high-speed pitch on Matthew Boyd. And top fastball 93 so far this evening, a low of 70. And one of those slow breaking pitches.
Swing and a miss. He got him to chase, struck him out. That'll end the 5th. No runs. He get a walk and leave 1. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Iglesias will lead things off, just getting in some more work. The 5th inning, Jose Barrios back to the hill, and Ron, when you look at what Barrios has been able to do, Tigers have been able to bend him. They just haven't been able to break him.
Yeah, I mean, sort of like last night. Tigers left 10 men on base because they were able to get some runners on, but not able to knock them in. So they're going to have to fight hard here the remainder of the game if they're going to get to Barrios. And if they don't get to him, they're going to have to get to a really good Minnesota bullpen.
Guys, one of the reasons I love being down here in the camera well is because I get a chance to listen in over here in the dugout and overheard the guys talking about what's making Barrios so tough on them in the batter's box. It's not necessarily the fastball. Yes, it's firm, it's located, but they're having a tough time picking up the breaking ball. Sharp with late break in the strike zone.
Iggy did not go.
They're not the only one, Simo. He's got an outstanding breaking ball. As a matter of fact, 45% of his strikeouts have come on that breaking ball. So once he gets ahead of you, that's kind of his feature pitch, that outstanding curveball with real good spin rate on it.
Well, you can't look for that pitch either, Rob, because if he throws a good one, you can't hit it. You hope he makes a mistake with it, like that.
Pulled to left field, and Rosario on the run.
That boy can play, man.
You know what? He gets incredible jumps on the baseball, guys. Right away, I look at the bat angle there. He knew exactly where that ball was going, and he ran past the ball basically. He got to a spot, and that's what the good outfielders do. They go to the spot to where the ball is going. And great job there by Rosario.
And not only that, I mean, usually when the ball comes off the bat of a right-handed batter, it's got a natural hook to it. And he knew that ball was hooking in. Man, that's a double all day, every day, with a lot of left fielders in baseball.
Right, he's got good closing speed, too. He takes great routes, there's no question about that. But he also has that speed that allows him to be an elite defender in left field.
Here is Victor Reyes, who is 0 for 1 in this game. And he'll drop down a bunt, drag it towards second, and he is out at first.
What a play by Dozier. Wow.
Stop it.
You cannot make a better play than that if it stands.
I mean, with Reyes' speed, I mean, he is running out of the batter's box. Perfect bunt. Dozier comes in with the glove, flips it to Morrison. Morrison with a nice stretch, able to field that baseball. Man, that's a nice play.
This might be worth taking a look at. Pretty close.
That's two really good plays here to start off the bottom half of the 5th inning for Minnesota's defense. They play a really good brand of ball defensively anyway.
Tigers will use a challenge on this play. Now the problem here is the call in the field was out, so it's going to have to be pretty clear that he was safe. And the Tigers will indeed use a challenge.
Guys, that last angle there, right? It looks safe to me.
It's funny how one angle could look one way, another angle another way. See if the Tigers get this one.
Great idea by Victor.
And also, young base runners, look at how he hits the front part of the base. That can be the difference in being out or safe. That's textbook, guys. That's perfect.
I think he's safe by an eyelash. We'll have to wait and see what New York feels. That replay right there doesn't tell you anything because you just don't know when the ball goes in the glove.
And whatever replay the crowd is watching as well believes he's safe.
And again, it's got to be definitive.
So close.
And when it's this close, typically you'll see the call go toward the initial umpire's call. So we'll see if it's a bunt single for Reyes, who is utilizing his speed in that at bat. Lengthy. Either way, if you're Dozier, you can't make a better play.
Well, it's the only chance that he had. If he tries to field that ball and then get it to the throwing hand to shuffle it over, there's no way that he gets Reyes.
Save. Tigers get it overturned. One single.
There's a perfect example, and we talk about it all the time, how guys, when they're trying to get an infield single, how they jump when they get to the bag. You get to the bag a whole lot faster if you just run through it, as Victor Reyes did there. Had he jumped for that, he probably would have been in the air still when that ball got in the glove of Morrison. So nice job there running through the bag.
2 minutes and 24 seconds on the time of that challenge. Here is Leonis Martin. Fouled away.
And what do we have on Victor going down the line? Ooh, 30 feet per second. 3.71 from the left side on a bunt. That's a good time.
You know, guys, I maintain that in a player like Victor, and they certainly know what kind of skill set he has, it's really hard to evaluate him here because of the lack of playing time, but there are flashes where you can see the skills that the Tigers like.
Well, there's no doubt about that. I love his speed, and we haven't seen him enough in the batter's box to determine if he has big-time power. Yeah, I watch him take batting practice, but I love right now, take a look at the lead. He's got a real nice lead. He's looking to steal that next base.
Off the glove of Morrison, and everybody is safe. Hard hit ball off the glove of the first baseman.
Ball smoked to the backhand of Logan Morrison. It crawls up his arm, and by the time he picks it up, there's no play on Leonis Martin, and that ball right off the right wrist of Logan Morrison. Just to answer your question and finish up on what you asked there, Mario, I don't think they're going to evaluate Reyes a whole bunch this year due to the fact that he's not going to get a lot of consistent playing time. He might play one day, he might sit for 10, but as long as he continues to go out and get his work and continues to work and get better in that regard, I think they'll appreciate that. But it's tough to really grade out a young player that's not getting a chance to play every day at this level.
Here's Castellanos.
And Rod, sometimes that's why I question, you know, and when you, is it good to draft a Rule 5 guy to where do you hinder his productivity, or do you his ceiling of how good he can be by having him sit on the bench? I mean, we try to project these guys to be some elite athletes or hopefully superstars in the game. He's got the skill set, but would you like to see him get more playing time?
That's a great point, see, but I don't know if they're looking at it that way, other than the fact that they're retooling or rebuilding, whichever words you want to use these days. And when you have teams that are rebuilding or retooling, just like that 2003 Tigers team, they had 3 Rule 5 drafted players on that particular team because that was a team that wasn't expected to contend. So if you get lucky with a Victor Reyes and you hold on to him for a year, I mean, you might have an impact player in your organization for the next decade.
That's true.
Castellanos pops it up. Right side of the infield. Who wants it? Dozier does, and there are 2 gone. Well, today American military personnel serving overseas are watching this game on AFN, the American Forces Network. Welcome to those in countries around the world, aboard naval ships at sea, and thank you for your service. Actually Morrison that caught that ball, not Dozier, so it's a pop-up 3. I'm telling you, Rod, these shifts, man.
Man, he's at second. He's at second base, dude.
I know.
He's at second base.
There's usually at least 1 or 2 errors in my score sheet tonight.
No, that's not an error. That's not an error.
2 gone now for Jamer Candelario. Jamer now in a spot here to come up with a big 2-out hit. He fanned with 2 men on in his last at bat, and he fouls it back 0-1.
Jamer getting a steady diet of fastballs inside these days, Simo, whether batting right-handed or left-handed. Why is that? Any idea?
No, I'm not really sure. What I do love about his swing, though, is that he's very balanced in the batter's box.
Is that a sign of respect?
I think so.
Going right back in there again. Breaking ball this time, looks like.
0-2.
For those of you at home, usually when you see the catcher set up on the inside part of the plate against a left-handed batter, most of the time it's going to be a good hard fastball inside.
One and two now on Candelario.
Simo, did you get caught up in the catchers playing games with you, like patting dirt to maybe tell you that it's going to be a breaking ball, then they stand up for a high fastball? Did you get caught in that any time?
I tried not to, but they do it, and it cracks me up because they're trying to do everything they possibly can to give that pitcher the edge, and it ain't like he needs it. He already has the edge.
Do you ever try and sneak a peek at location?
You know what? There's some guys that I played with in the minor leagues that was really good at peeking. I really didn't peek because I didn't want to take a chance on taking one in my in my side or in my ear flap because, you know, guys, I mean, they don't like it. They don't like when you're trying to peek back and, you know, look at location. Now, what I tell you this though, Mario, being at second base, there's no question I'm peeking in, trying to get the signs and try to relay them to the hitter. There's no doubt about that.
I used to peek. I mean, especially in the minor leagues before there was a lot of cameras. I mean, nowadays you can't peek because they got way too many cameras. But there was a time, and when you were kind of taking your backswing, you can kind of look back, and if you didn't see the shadow of the catcher on a day game, you knew he was inside. But then there were some times where you would take a look back as well, Mario, and you could see that catcher out of the corner of your eye before they got all these cameras around you. But now you can't really peek at the catcher.
Jamer was hit here, and the Twins want to make sure that he actually was. So there had to be a subtle art to peeking, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, you just kind of get down like you're doing your, you know, you're getting ready to hit, then all of a sudden you come up that one time, you just take a little casual look back with out of the corner of your eye. It's just really subtle. But again, you used to be able to do it before all the cameras.
Not anymore. Well, the hit batter's going to stand. Garvin Alston coming out now, the pitching coach. Garvin's not in a hurry, is he?
No, he wasn't in a hurry last night either.
He's gotten to the mound now with about 11 seconds left on the clock. They are loaded up with Tigers. Hey, the 2018 World Cup in Russia is just hours away, and here's a first look into the Fox Sports studio at Red Square in Moscow. Rob Stone, Ali Wagner, and Cuss Hending and Alexei Lalas prepare for the opening broadcast on Thursday with an impressive backdrop at the Cathedral of St. Basil the Blessed. So World Cup right around the corner.
You read that in honor of Victor Martinez, who is really into soccer.
He is probably at the top of the list of soccer fans. He and Miggy, I think, in the locker room. Well, right now it's a big opportunity. Vimar with the bases loaded, and that'll break in for a strike. 0-1. Tigers have had several opportunities for a big hit in this game, and here's another. Ground outs in both at bats for Victor. Reyes started this with a bunt single. Now he's down on the count 0-2.
They don't shift on Victor with the bases loaded, not as they were doing in last night's game. They're pretty much playing him straight up for the most part. Adrian is a shortstop, shading him up the middle a little bit. Off the line here is Escobar.
Barrios now is up to 80 pitches. Twins lead 2-1. Now the 0-2, and Victor sends a ground ball to the right side, gobbled up by Morrison, and Barrios will cover for the out. Tigers will leave him loaded here in the 5th. Still 2-1 Twins.
Hats off for heroes, because no matter where you serve or when you served, we stand ready to serve all military families.
Well, the Tigers have had some chances in this game. They left the bases loaded in the 5th, so we go to the 6th. And a spectacular night for baseball here in the Motor City. And it's been 2-1 for a while now. The Twins got 2 early runs on Matthew Boyd. Matthew done for the night after 5 innings. And a wall side windows pitching change now. Buck Farmer.
Farmer pitching in his 33rd game this year. It's going to be very important for Buck Farmer to make sure that he continues to put up zeros on that scoreboard, which will give his team a golden opportunity of coming back in this game.
Boyd ends up going 106 pitches, a season high. Big swing by Miguel Sano. It'll be Sano and then Grossman and Morrison here in the 6th for the Twins. Held up. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sano last night had a broken bat single late in the game, which made it a 2-run game, and the Twins would hold on to win that one. Winning game 1 in the series, and in doing so leapfrogged the Tigers in the standings. Another big rip there by Sano.
And Buck's one that really loves his changeup. As a matter of fact, it's a really good pitch for him. You could see as he opens up that front shoulder that a changeup usually has some tailing action on it, but that one stayed up. That was a good pitch to hit for Sano.
Down he goes. 1 gone. Hey, the 2018 FIFA World Cup is coming to Fox and FS1 with every match live and over 300 hours of coverage. World's biggest sporting event is tomorrow only on Fox and FS1. Also announced today that the United Bid Committee for the U.S., Mexico, and Canada has been awarded the 2026 FIFA World Cup. That is exciting news, and I think the U.S. is going to have a lot of those later round games in 2026. World Cup is huge, man. Big around the world. Here's Robbie Grossman. Rolled foul.
You play any soccer as a kid?
No, I really didn't. I know my kids both did when they were growing up. It became more and more popular in their era as kids.
Good motor skills to play hockey. Run on the balls of your feet. Good athleticism.
1 ball and 1 strike on Grossman. 1-2. Strikeout and a flyout for Grossman. Are you one of those folks that believes playing multiple sports is beneficial for kids?
Absolutely. 100%. I mean, because you learn so much from playing football. I mean, obviously you learn toughness, and from playing football, team sports. Basketball, you learn some agility. Soccer, even. I mean, you can learn good running skills, good running technique. And of course, baseball helps out as well. So I really like the guys that play multiple sports. I think it really helps you ultimately if you do become a big league baseball player. You can look at most of the guys on this field here tonight, and I guarantee you the majority of them at a very young age were multi-sport stars.
Two and two on Grossman. Outside now, 3-2.
How about you?
Yeah, I believe the same thing. I think, and I've heard some coaches say that really the guys that all they do is play baseball, those guys aren't as well-rounded athletically as those that don't. But I think when you get into high school, all the separate coaches want you to concentrate on their sport.
That's a great point. And those kids that play baseball every day, all day, they burn out.
Yeah, I agree. That's outside. It'll be a 1-out walk for Grossman.
And here's take a peek at our Bell Tire pitch by pitch. Matthew Boyd was good. He had 36 pitches in the very first frame, but really settled in after that. He got several swings and misses, lots of soft contact, a few ground balls, most of the outs up in the air, 7 flyouts. He just kept the Minnesota Twins off balance, but the one thing that got him was the 36 pitches that he needed in the very first inning to get out of that frame. So again, Matthew Boyd goes out there, and his team has a position to win a game.
Logan Morrison looks at ball 1.
And Logan Morrison, one of those guys that will sit on a changeup. He knows that Buck loves his changeup. It's his best pitch. So if you do throw him a changeup, you make sure you get it in an area where Logan can't do a lot of damage. There it was. He missed it.
Third base side, Candelario straddling the line and makes the catch in fair territory.
Logan Morrison is upset with himself. He was sitting on a changeup, and he got the changeup and popped it straight up.
Here is Adrianza, who delivered the big blow last night, the grand slam late. Ball 1 to A-Ray Adrianza. Pop up and a ground out for the Twins. Minnesota with only 3 hits in this game, yet they lead 2-1.
Yeah, Minnesota with quite a few switch hitters on their roster.
One and one. Switch hitters give managers so much more flexibility.
They really do. Makes it a lot more difficult for the opposing managers as well to match up their bullpen against your offense. That's why that Cleveland team, when they get rolling, they're tough to match up against with Lindor and Ramirez. A couple of switch hitters at the top of the batting order.
Two and one on Adrianza. Outside now, 3-1. Boyd goes 5 and throws 106 pitches, allowed 2 in the first, but nothing after that. And at one point, he retired 7 straight. Now it's up to the bullpen and the offense. Jack Morris fan. Three and 1. Had a good rip. 3-2.
Time for the DTE Energy Know Your Own Power. Adriana in last night's game connected for a grand slam. It was a 92-mile-per-hour fastball, 3-1 count against Warg Sophold. And Adriana's put a real good swing on it.
Former San Francisco Giant. He played 4 years in San Fran. Runner going on 3-2. Got him on strikes. Adrianza's out of there. A couple of strikeouts for Farmer here in the 6th. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Sports Detroit is brought to you by Bell Tire. For tires and auto service, everybody needs a Bell Tire guy. And by Chevrolet, the most awarded and fastest growing brand the last 4 years overall.
We got all kind of Rally Goose stuff in the team shop.
Oh boy, the Rally Goose is taking over the D shop, so get yours now. John Hicks leading it off in the 6th inning. He is 1 for 2 against Barrios. Hicks, Goodrum, Griner here for the Tigers. 0-2. Barrios escaped a bases loaded jam in the 5th. It'll dive low and away, 1-2. Ooh, that one nailed Wilson apparently. Ugh. And right under the mask, it appears, he heard the home plate umpire Tim Timmons got him in the throat.
Oh yeah, it snuck up there. Breaking ball. How does it get underneath there?
Oh no. Remember Tim Yeager used to wear that flap?
I do.
That came from under the attached to the mask.
Mm-hmm.
It's gone by the wayside. I can't remember the last guy to use that.
A lot of guys wear the hockey mask now to prevent that from happening.
So Wilson will stay in the game. He's all right. Tigers have action. Drew Verhagen. Hicks had a single back in the fourth, 1 for 2. Now Barrios with the 1-2 pitch. Right back up the middle into left center and right through that shift. Hicks with another knock and a leadoff single here in the 6th.
Let's take a look at the big boys' big play of the game, and it came back in the 2nd inning, the only Tigers run so far of the day. It was a breaking ball down and in that Nico put a real good swing on and hit his 6th home run of the season. Against the team that drafted him back in 2010.
And now he'll bat with 1 on, nobody out. Fouled away 0-1.
He hasn't gotten a breaking ball since hitting that home run. His last time up, a steady diet of fastballs from Barrios. As a matter of fact, Barrios has thrown a lot more fastballs here today than he does in most of his starts.
Good block.
Change up there. .71% tonight with his fastball. Of the 87 pitches thrown, 24% with the curveball. Not many changeups, and pretty much just 2 pitches tonight for the talented right-hander. Another changeup. Straight change.
He's got a really good curveball. He gets a lot of strikeouts with that curveball. He's gone ahead of Goodrum now, 1-2.
And what makes that curveball such a really good pitch is the fact that you got to respect that he's got a 95 mile per hour fastball that he can use at any time.
Hammered down the right field line, and that is over the wall. It's going to be a ground rule double for Goodrum. His 2nd extra base hit of the night, and the Tigers are in business in the 6th.
Nico Goodrum has gotten some huge hits for the Tigers this year. I mean, huge hits. And first pitch fastball, then he comes back with changeups, back-to-back changeups, as a matter of fact. And then he's going to throw him a fastball at 95 that Nico Goodrum just simply turned on. Not a whole lot of movement, but he had a feeling that he would get another fastball after the back-to-back changeups.
So now the tying run at 3rd, the go-ahead run at 2nd, nobody out. Another great opportunity here for the Tigers. Griner with a ground out and a strikeout. Strike 1.
Even though Barrios has thrown a lot of fastballs, and when the Tigers do get a runner in scoring position, he does go to that breaking ball.
Tigers are 1 for 15 with men in scoring position in the series so far.
Yeah, they left 10 on base last night. They've stranded 6 more so far today.
Ryan Presley heating up in their bullpen. He went around to Griner. Ball dropped, and now they finally throw it down to complete the strikeout. Griner's out of there, 1 gone. Here's the Ram pick the stick update.
John Keating, man. We can't do nothing with Keats, boy.
He has Nico tonight.
He did with the 6th pick. Don't close his mic, please.
Hey,
close
no,
it. Close his mic, please.
No, go ahead and open that mic.
Oh my goodness.
Hello, Mario and Ron. How's it going up there?
Not real good, John.
Hey, John. Hey, I'm to the point now where I'm going to give you some props tonight, man.
No,
I'm going to give you some props.
I mean, it's another touchdown. I mean, I'm putting a touchdown on the board.
No, but come on now. I'm giving you your props. You ain't got to pat your own self on the back.
Yeah, I do.
He broke his arm doing it, Rod.
This is a bat flip, effectively.
Oh, my goodness, man. 5 days in a row, though. I mean, if nobody pushes. This 6?
This would be 6.
Oh, okay.
Oh, who's counting, though?
Yeah.
Keating's counting.
You making a nice. I mean, have you really been able to?
It's all luck.
Have you really been able to get into the dent of Mario's lead though?
No, not enough.
No.
You know, I'm being told by those that have inside information about this pick the stick thing here, it would be 5, not 6 in a row. So,
would it be 5?
Yeah, let's not jump to conclusions here. But I think Rod's right. You know, sooner or later, you got to start giving Keats some props.
Hey,
yeah.
All I know is that tonight, Mario, I can count to 7.
You've been counting to 7 every night.
That's because you took your shoes off.
Wow.
Well, he got 7 toes.
Once he gets past 5, you got to take his shoes off to count.
Leave it there.
All right, see, here's what I'm talking about. Let me do some quick adding here. You're 32 points behind me.
I know, but I was 1,000 behind you last week.
Yeah, good point. You want to be on that top row to have a chance. You're on that top row. 0-2 on Iglesias. Swing and a miss.
Boy,
man.
he struck out somebody that doesn't strike out very often.
That is 7 strikeouts now for Barrios, and it's going to take a 2-out hit from Reyes.
There's a breaking ball. And we told you that he gets 45% of his strikeouts on that pitch right there. He got Griner with it. He also got Iglesias with it. Well, he set Iglesias up beautifully.
Didn't he, though? Look at that swing.
3 straight fastballs inside, and then he went outside with that soft breaking ball. That's pitching right there.
So now Reyes with 2 outs. Tigers got a leadoff single and a double. Second and third, nobody out. But Barrios again trying to get himself out of a huge jam. Ball 1. Reyes had a bunt single back in the 5th. In the air toward left. And Rosario will get there, and somehow Barrios pitches out of it. No runs, single double, 2 men left.
feel like in shock right now because I know I'm gonna able to play more this year. I mean, it's tough. In the same way, I gotta go and fix it and try to come back healthy.
Well, you can understand why Miguel Cabrera is shocked, and certainly I don't think anybody expected what happened last night here at the ballpark. But I think, Rod, as you look forward, he's got to have the attitude where just got to work hard, rehab hard, and be back in spring camp.
And I think Miguel will do that. I mean, he's been doing that his entire life. I think when we do see Miguel again as far as on the baseball field, if it's not at the end of this year and it's next year, he's going to be in the best shape of his life.
In the meantime, Drew Verhagen is out of the bullpen now. The wall side windows pitching change.
And Drew has averaged a strikeout per inning. And 15 innings, 15 strikeouts. He's got a good arm. He's got a fastball that will probably top out at about 96 here this evening. He also has an outstanding breaking ball. Can really spin that breaking ball.
Lamar, Wilson, and Dozier here in the 7th. Strikeout, flyout for Lamar. The University of Michigan product. He's been seeing extended playing time now with the injury to Byron Buxton.
They're expecting to get healthy really soon. They're expecting to get Maurer back in a few days. Buxton is on his way back as well.
Now the 1-2. Just foul. Twins got 2 in the first, have not scored since. The Tigers have left 8 men on base tonight. Breaking ball dips low, and now 2-2 on Lamar. Tigers have gone with Boyd, Farmer, and now Verhagen. Bouncer right back to the mound. 1 away. What's going on down on the farm? Got some pretty good prospects that are putting up some pretty good numbers recently.
Hey, Jake Rogers, big day yesterday. 3 home runs, 4 RBIs. What do you got on Funkhauser?
Funkhauser, man, he's had a couple of really good starts in a row now. Last night at Hartford, 7 strikeouts in 6 scoreless innings.
No walks either.
No. Daz Cameron, good night. And Gregory Soto, good night as well.
Daz Cameron came from the Houston Astros in the Justin Verlander deal, as did Jake Rogers, who was also on that list. So a couple of guys that the Tigers got back from the deal to Houston for Justin.
Down the left field line, foul.
Performed very well last night.
Good to see. I know that the Tigers are very high on everybody they got back in that Verlander deal, which was struck really at the final minute last year. Franklin Perez, who was the headliner, the talented pitcher, I think is still on the comeback trail from a spring training injury. It's going to be a tough play for Nico, and he threw him out.
Nico doing it all tonight.
Anybody but the catcher is probably safe, but a good play by Goodrum nonetheless.
Not a second baseman by trade, came up as a shortstop, so it's not an easy transition, but he comes in, he grabs his ball. He grabs it with the bare hand, then he flips it over to Hicks to get the out. So nice job by Nico Goodrum, who's doing everything. Homer, double, nice play.
Wilson was unable to dislodge that piano from his back.
Is that what it was?
And took him a while to get to first. 2 away now, and Dozier stands in. Been on base twice, hit by pitch, walk, and scored a run.
And Dozier has no idea what his future holds. He's a free agent after this year is over. He's had some really good years at the second base position. in Minnesota. He's won a Gold Glove. He's made All-Star team.
High fly ball to center field. Martin is under it, and Verhagen a 1-2-3 seventh inning. Nothing doing for the Twins. Coming up, Consumers Energy seventh inning stretch. Here's our Comerica Bank game summary. Tigers offense 1 for 11 with men in scoring position. 8 more left on base tonight. Matt Boyd after that first inning was good. And Nico Goodrum stepping up again for the Tigers with a double and a homer. To the pen go the Minnesota Twins. Wall side windows change. Ryan Presley.
And Presley's got a big arm. His fastball tops out at about 97 miles an hour, and he also has a slider that he throws quite a bit.
He's got the top of the lineup. Martin leads it off.
Hit him. Nope.
What looked like it.
I'm begging. It's my pick to steal.
Yes.
Any way you can, man.
Well, you got 3 points tonight.
I got a couple points tonight.
Single walk steal. Two and 0 on Martin.
And this much we do know. If Martin gets a fastball here from Presley, it's going to be probably in the mid-90s, and if it's a strike, Martin will not get cheated.
Yep. Wasn't cheated. 95. He took a rip.
That was pretty much an unhittable pitch, too. That location, that velocity.
There's a message on the glove of Ryan Presley. Here's the 2-1. In the air, shallow center, and Lamar coming in. One away. Let's bring in Trevor Thompson.
Guys, as Nicholas Castellanos steps to the plate, it was very interesting to watch him react to Miguel Cabrera being lost for the season post-game last night inside the clubhouse. This guy wants to be a leader, and knowing that Miguel was going to be out for the rest of the year, he grabbed that leadership role by the horns and seized it for himself with his post-game remarks last night, simply talking about the fact that nobody in that clubhouse is going to be allowed to sulk about this. They're going to have to pick themselves up and march on. Today's a new day, and they've got to go out and win a ball game. He said Gardy told the guys, and then he said, Nick turned up the music, and Nick said, that's exactly what I did. Went and turned up the music. We've got to move on, and he's leading by example in that fashion here tonight, guys.
Yeah, they are certainly marching on without Mr. Cabrera. They really have no choice. And Castellanos in this ball game 0 for 3, fly ball, pop-up, strikeout. Only 3 Minnesota hits. They haven't scored since the first, but they lead 2-1. Nick looks at a ball outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Jeimer Candelario waiting on deck. Did not go. Presley has 8 2/3 scoreless innings in his last 9 appearances against Detroit. So he's handled the Tigers very well. Came in second in the American League in appearances. Now 2-2 on Nick.
And Presley's been in the Minnesota bullpen since the 2013 season. So he's been a mainstay out there. I don't ever really remember him throwing 97, though.
No, I don't either. Drilled towards center field. Lamar is on the run. He'll track it down. 2 gone. That'll bring up Jeimer. Well, we know that the Twins have Mr. Rodney at the very back end of their bullpen. He saved the game last night. We saw several different guys, several different types of pitchers at the back end of their pen, like Hildenberger and Duke.
Yeah, they got a combination of Hildenberger, which is a sidearm right-hander, and Duke is a sidearm left-hander. And, of course, Rodney has got 95 with a really good changeup at age 41.
And now the hard-throwing Presley here in the 7th. Jeimer looks at ball 1.
It's a slider at 90 miles an hour.
Candelario hit by a pitch in the 5th. Swing and a miss. Well, Joe Jimenez will be next for the Tigers. What's going on here? Here comes Paul Molitor.
Yep, something going on.
With the trainer as well. Somebody saw something. Presley lobbying to stay in the game. Yeah, you can tell that body language there was not good.
Yep. Usually when guys do that, it's usually the back tightens up a little bit. Yep, you can see him twisting out there.
One ball and 1 strike. Martinez on deck if Candelario can get on base. And they're getting in touch with the bullpen now. One curls outside, 2-1.
We've seen Jeimer turn on 95-mile-per-hour fastballs, especially when he's short and quick.
Two and 2.
Still pounding Jeimer inside.
Rolled foul again. It was a fastball that Cody Allen threw him right in the 12th inning the other night.
It was a fastball. I think it was 93.
That Jeimer hit about halfway up the seats and right to end that game. And there is more action now. They've gotten Addison Reed warming up. swing and a miss. Candelario is out on strikes. 1, 2, 3 go the Tigers here in the 7th. Tigers baseball tonight presented by Bell Tire.
Probably missed this. He hit the first batter of the game. That would be Matthew Boyd. Then Rosario, the left-hander, he doubled into the right center field gap. Escobar would follow with a single up the middle, and that would drive in both runs. The only 2 runs that Minnesota has scored here tonight, and they came on the first 3 hitters of the game.
Tigers going to the bullpen now. Joe Jimenez coming out of the pen for Detroit.
And Ron Gardenhire was questioned quite a bit after last night's game as to why he did not use Joe Jimenez. And Ron's answer was, you know what? I'm not going to kill the young kid. He's already been in 34 games this year. On my watch, I'm going to make sure that he stays healthy, and I'm going to watch him very closely the remainder of the year. So Joe's a priority to make sure that Ron Gardenhire watches him very closely this year.
Yes, well, he should. He's been awfully good as that ball is flared to center field right at Martin. Rosario retired on 1 pitch.
And last time these guys hooked up in Minnesota, it was May 23rd. And this one's when Jimenez was really throwing that ball well. I mean, as a matter of fact, he was doing not only this to Escobar, but he did it to all of the players that he saw in this particular inning. He was dominant.
He's got Escobar here, who is 1 for 3, 2-run single in the first, providing their only runs. High fly ball into right field, hit pretty good. Castellanos going back, still going back. It's up against the wall. Rounding second, going to third is Escobar, and he will stop there. Martin threw his hands up as if to say it bounced over the fence, or a fan touched it, one of the two, but he put a charge into that thing.
That is the 40th extra base hit this year for Escobar. He trails only Mike Trout and Jose Ramirez in the major leagues. That's 85 at the bottom of the strike zone. He flipped it off the wall, and it did bounce up off that bit sign, but it didn't look like the fan touched it. At least to me, it didn't look that way.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Martin was trying to buy one there.
What a year Escobar is having.
Infield in now, grounded back off of Joe, and they're going to have one play at first as the runner holds at third. Two gone.
Sometimes it helps to have that wide body out there, partner. Huh?
It came in handy there.
Yeah. He big boned it.
Here's Robbie Grossman. That was the first Minnesota hit since the first inning.
Really?
They had not had a hit since getting 2 in the first. Strike 1.
Joe just pounds that strike zone, man. 96 to 98 with the 4-seam fastball. He's got some 2-seam action as well. The velocity on that pitch anywhere from 90 to 93. Nice little breaking ball. A lot of good mound presence as well. Uh-oh, that's another problem with that wide body, though.
It's hard to get out of the way.
Yeah, it's hard to stop it, man, once you get rolling.
1 ball, 1 strike. Runner remains at third. And Grossman looks at the ball inside, 2-1.
And be careful here. I know Joe has a good fastball. It's 97, but Grossman's a good fastball hitter. And if he's convinced that you're going to throw him one, he's going to put it in play somewhere.
Fouled away, 2-2.
That is the main reason why most of these guys are in the big leagues. The #1 reason is these guys were all great fastball hitters. I'm talking about the offensive players. Every step of the way they could hit fastballs, and it didn't matter whose fastball they were hitting. That's why they're some of the best hitters in the world.
Grossman, a walk, a strikeout, and a fly ball in this game.
He's got Grossman set up for that breaking ball should he want to throw it here, but just make a good pitch and you locate it in an area you could get him to swing at it.
High, ball 3. Jimenez, over his last 15 outings, has an ERA of 0.63. Only 1 earned run in 14 1/3 innings. And Joe has kind of grabbed that 8th inning, and he has not relinquished it. As consistent as anybody out of the Tigers bullpen this year. Trying to dispatch Grossman here with 2 outs. Fouled away again, making him work. 97 from Jimenez again. Eight pitch at bat right now.
And every last pitch has been a fastball at 96 miles an hour. Every last one.
Man. Another one out of play.
At some point in time, Joe's got to put a wrinkle in something. I mean, especially if you have confidence in throwing the pitch for a strike, and even if you disguise it and it looks like a strike, Grossman is going to swing at it because he's seen 8, 9 straight fastballs at 97. Well, here it comes. Let's see what he does with it.
There it is. Put a wrinkle in one. He struck out Grossman.
He could have did that about 3 or 4 pitches ago.
Big Joe says, whoop, finally got him. Let's go to the bottom of the 8th. Baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank. Raise your expectations of what a bank can be. Come to Comerica. Your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com. See why Chevy drives the Motor City. And by Wallside Windows, we can do that. We are the factory. Well, back here at Comerica Park, Tigers down by a run as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Minnesota has gone back to their bullpen. Addison Reed coming on.
Addison Reed pitching in his 32nd game already this year. 3.03 ERA and 31 strikeouts. He's walked 11.
Well, they had Presley throw a 1-2-3 7th. Now Reed here in the 8th. Barrios went 6. Vimar gulched it back out of play 0-1.
Reed, his fastball gets up to about 95 miles an hour these days. He's only got 2 pitches, fastball, slider.
Reed broke in with the Chicago White Sox and spent 3 years there. Was also part of the Mets bullpen. 0-2.
Guys, I asked Victor Martinez before the game about him needing to step up and take more of a leadership role without Miguel Cabrera inside that young clubhouse. He turned that right around on me and said, I love these young guys in the clubhouse. They're stepping up for themselves and proving to be leaders in their own right. And then he said, yeah, I'd love to hit more home runs and drive in more runs, and I'll do the best I can. But he really likes the makeup of this young team.
And it'll be a 3-1 putout. And, well, you know, the Martinez knows what's going on here. It's a younger team. Victor in the final year of his contract. I think he's got a point in that the young guys really need to take over the future of this club.
Yeah, I think so. I think they watch Victor and how he goes about his business, his work ethic, and they really appreciate that. And Victor does talk to the kids quite a bit, especially the Latin players. Well, all the players for that matter. But Tigers have always had a lot of Latin players on their squad, and Victor has been a leader to those guys.
Here's John Hicks now with 1 out.
Nice day for John Hicks. A couple of singles.
Both of those came against Barrios.
His last 4 hits have come against some pretty good pitchers. He had 2 against Corey Kluber on Sunday, and then a couple today against the ace of the Minnesota staff.
Hicks did not like it, and now down on the count 0-2. A 3-hit series right now for John Hicks. Slap to center field, and it's going to drop. Base hit. 3rd hit of the night. Well, back by popular demand, bring your dog to the ballpark for Bark at the Park on Thursday, July 5th. Tigers host the Rangers at 7:10. Special ticket package includes a game ticket, doggy ticket, and donation to the Michigan Humane Society. Go to tigers.com/bark, of course, for more information. And now we've got a pinch runner. Ronnie Rodriguez will pinch run it first for Hicks. Rodriguez called up today in light of the Cabrera injury, and here is Nico Goodrum. Nico looks at a strike.
Second stint in the big leagues for Ronnie Rodriguez.
Big night for Nico. Homer and a double. Yank foul. 0-2. Ground ball up the middle, base hit. An 0-2 single, and the Tigers have 2 men on. It's a 3-hit game for Nico.
It's a nice job of hitting here. He went down to the bottom of the strike zone and got a pretty good breaking ball that was off the plate, and he found that seam right up the middle. It's a wise decision there by Ronnie Rodriguez, running from first base, not to challenge the arm of Lamar in center field. He's got an average arm for a major league player.
That is the second 3-hit game of the year for Nico. Now here is Grayson Greiner.
And last time Greiner was up, he punched out on 3 straight breaking balls against the starter, Jose Barrios.
Ball 1.
The one thing you can't do if you're Greiner, you can't go up there looking for breaking balls. Stay on your fastball, make the adjustments necessary.
Reed was not fond of that last call by Tim Timmons. 2-0.
Nice night for John Hicks. Nice night for Nico Goodrum.
Tigers have to cash him in, though.
Yeah, they haven't been able to do that.
Squibber, fair ball. First baseline, 1 run will score. Goodrum is on his way to third, stopping there. It's a base hit and an RBI for Grayson Greiner.
Well, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. That ball right off the bat, into the bat of Greiner, cued right down the first baseline for a single and an RBI. Nico Goodrum, the winning run, potential winning run at third.
And here comes Garvin Alston, the pitching coach. Rodriguez scores the tying run to make it 2-2. And now first and third, still only 1 out. Here is the upcoming matchup presented by Wallside Windows. Michael Fulmer, Lance Lynn will wrap it up tomorrow.
Lynn has been pitching better. And since we saw him a few weeks ago in Minnesota, his last few starts have been decent. Michael Fulmer also has been pitching much better. Checks in with 2 wins and 5 losses and a 440 earned run average, does Michael.
Twins are down to 2 mound visits remaining. There's Goodrum, the go-ahead run at third.
And there's no doubt in the back of the mind of the Minnesota Twins, they're thinking squeeze with this combination of Iglesias and also Goodrum. First pitch might be a fastball up in the strike zone just to protect themselves from that.
Swing and a miss.
Big swing there by Jose.
Doubled in 3 at bats. Fouled away now 0-2.
Jose struck out once last night late in the game. He also punched out once tonight. And he's very difficult to strike out.
Popped up. Shallow right field. Tough play and caught there by Grossman. Runners will have to hold. Two away.
A little bit of an awkward catch here by Grossman as he aggressively came in to catch this fly ball, calling off Morris and also calling off Dozier. But look at him stab at this ball when he catches it. It's almost like he didn't see it good or something.
Must have sailed right through the lights to the last second.
Yeah, something happened.
Now Victor Reyes, a 2-out chance to give the Tigers the lead. Strike one to Reyes. Victor flied out with runners at second and third in the 6th inning. Swing and a miss. 0-2.
Hey, Reed got away with one right there. An 0-2 fastball right down the middle.
Shane Green in the Tigers bullpen. And there's a base hit to left. Opposite field RBI single for Victor Reyes, and the Tigers have the lead.
That is 2 0-2 hits the Tigers have gotten in this inning off Reed. Nico Goodrum got an 0-2 base hit right back up the middle, and that's an 0-2 base hit right there by Victor Reyes. An outstanding piece of hitting. Cutting down that swing, slicing right past the diving shortstop.
So Reyes, the Rule 5 selection, comes through with a clutch 2-out knock here in the 8th inning to give the Tigers their first lead of the night.
Against the Minnesota bullpen that's been really good for the last calendar month.
Here's Martin now trying to add on. We'll say this about Reed. He's throwing strikes. 17 of the 19 he's throwing are strikes. But he's given up a couple of 0-2 hits. One and 0 on Martin, a single, a walk, and a steal tonight. Addison Reed at one time was the dynamite closer to save 40 games in 2013 with the White Sox. 32 the year after that. Drilled to right field, a base hit. They're going to try and get another run in. Here's the throw from Grossman. Airmails it. 2 runs will score. And the Tigers tack on.
It's one thing about this Tigers team, they don't ever quit. Outstanding at-bats by the left-handers in this particular inning. And Nico Goodrum, Victor Reyes, and Martin. And then you've got Griner going the opposite way as well. So some good at-bats by the Tigers. Robbie Grossman in right field comes up, firing the ball to home, trying to get Grayson Griner, who's scoring. Dave Clark forced the issue, and he threw it over everybody.
And that's going to be it for Reed. He will not survive the 8th inning. He is roughed up. Tigers score 4 times in the inning. They lead 5-2, and we'll be back. 8th, Matt Belisle, who was just let go by the Indians, back in the Twins bullpen. He will face Castellanos here in a 5-2 ball game. And Nick shoots one in the air to right field. Grossman coming over, and that will end the inning. But a huge inning for the Tigers. They scored 4 times. Clutch knocks by Griner and Reyes and Martin. And we go to the 9th. Here comes Green.
Sam update. In light of the tough Miguel Cabrera news from last night, I'm not sure we really had any idea what kind of a game we were going to see tonight. This says a lot about this team. I mean, they battled.
That's exactly what this team does, Keith. They continue to battle for 9 full innings. And tonight, there was a couple new stars, so to speak, guys stepping up in the absence of Miguel Cabrera. We'll tell you who they were on the postgame show.
And we'll talk of Matthew Boyd not having his best start, but having a battling solid start in the game here tonight. Upstairs we go for the 9th to Mario and Rock, guys.
All right, gentlemen, thank you. Here is Shane Green now. He will step in out of the bullpen and try and nail this one shut.
Hey, Greeny pitching in his 33rd game this year, looking for his 16th save of the season.
Logan Morrison leads it off for the Twins.
Starts Logan off with the first pitch slider.
Rainer Rodriguez stays in the game at second and Goodrum to first. One ball and one strike on Morrison. Single and a steal for Morrison. Adrianza and Lamar here in the 9th inning for Minnesota. Here's the 2-1. 3-1. Nope, in there. Strike call. 2-2. Tigers have one more with the Twins tomorrow, then it's on to Chicago for the weekend. Ooh. easily could have been called, but it was a touch high, 3-2.
And no free passes.
Toward left field. Reyes going back. He'll get there to the warning track. One gone. Well, the 2018 Camping World MLB All-Star Ballot is now open and exclusively online. Make sure your favorite Tigers are represented on this year's squad by voting at tigers.com/vote. Catch all the excitement of the 89th Major League Baseball All-Star Game presented by MasterCard, July 17th, live on Fox.
Oh, Max Scherzer might have a chance of starting the All-Star game in his own ballpark, huh?
True. Here's Adrianza. Strike called on Adrianza. 0 for 3. Tigers have out hit the Twins tonight 12-4. 0-2. Afternoon baseball tomorrow. Tigers Twins wrapping up this series at noon on Fox Sports Detroit. Tiger bullpen doing a great job tonight. Farmer, Verhagen, Jimenez, now Green. They have kept the Twins off the board to this point. A little bit outside. 1-2 now on Adrianza. Kepler has moved to the on-deck circle. He'll bat for Lamar.
Ooh.
2-2.
Didn't miss by much.
Swing and a miss. Adrianza is out of there. 2 gone.
Real good slider here thrown by Green.
One more out to get here, and Max Kepler will pinch hit for Lamar. Ball 1. A few meetings between these two. 1 for 5 for Kepler. In there, a strike called. 1-1. Really, the only threat against the Tiger bullpen tonight was the 1-out triple by Escobar against Jimenez in the 8th, but they could not score him. Way outside. 2-1. Now the 2-1 to Kepler. 2-2. And now here comes the crowd. Foul back out of play. Kepler is still alive. He started the ball game last night for the Twins in right field. and was 0 for 4 in that game. Lance Lynn, Michael Fulmer in the finale tomorrow. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. They'll throw to first to complete the strikeout, and the Tigers win tonight with 4 in the bottom of the 8th. 5-2 your final. Now we send you to the Coliseum Studios. John Keating, Craig Monroe with Tigers Live postgame.
All right, Mario, thank you. That's a win that has some pixie dust on it in light of the tough Miguel Cabrera news from last night and then again today. But the rally goose lives on as the Tigers rally their way to victory. You'll hear from Nico Goodrum. You'll hear from Matthew Boyd. You'll hear from Leonis Martin, all part of a big Tigers win. And Ron Gardenhire has to be absolutely delighted. Turn up the music in the clubhouse, boys. The Tigers celebrate a win. Tigers Live postgame with Craig Monroe and myself moments away here on Fox Sports Detroit.